Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yamunatira Manachari. Yamunatira Manachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Jaya Gopijana Vallabha Girivaradhari. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yashodanandana Brajajana Ranjana. Yamunatira Manachari. Yamunatira Manachari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jayam Vishnu Paraparamhamsa Privrajikacharya Stotra Shri Srimad Bhakti Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Jayam Vishnu Paraparamhamsa Privrajikacharya Stotra Shri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada Ki Jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai. Prem Se Gaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopinath Shyama Kunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki Jai. Shri Mayapur Dham Ki Jai. Shri Jagannath Puri Dham Ki Jai. Ganga Maya Ki Jai, Yamuna Maya Ki Jai, Bhakti Devi Ki Jai, Tulsi Devi Ki Jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai, Shri Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki Jai, Shri Radhagiri Hari Ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Can someone please give me a book? I need a book, yeah.
You need to know without book.
Okay, so we continue reading Canto number 7, chapter 13, text number 43 today. Vikalpam Juhuyach. Oh, yes. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay. Vikalpam Juhuyach Chital Tam Manasi Artha Vibhrame Mano Vaikarike Hutva Tam Mayayam Juhoti Anu Vikalpam Juhuyachitau Tam Manasyarta Vibrame Mano Vaikarike Hutva Tam Mayam Juhoti Anu Vikalpam Juhuyachitau Tam Manasyarta Vibrame Mano Vaikarike Hutva Tam Mayayam Juhotyanu Vikalpam Juhuyachitau Tam Manasyarta Vibrame Manovaikarike hutva Tammayayam juhotyanu
Vikalpam juhoyachittau Tamanasyartha vibrame Manovaikarike hutva Tammayayam juhotyanu
juhotyanu
Vikalpam juhoyachittau Manasyartha vibrame
Tamanasyartha vibrame
Manovaikarike hutva
Tammayayam juhotyanu Vikalpam juhoyachittau Tamanasyartha
vibrame
Manovaikarike hutva Tammayayam juhotyanu Vikalpam juhoyachittau
Chittau Tamasartha vibrame Manovaikarike hutva
Tammayayam
juhotyanu. Anyone else online? Hare Krishna. Vikalpam, discrimination between good and bad, one person and another, one nation and another, and all similar discrimination. Juhuyad, one should offer as oblations. Chitta, in the fire of consciousness. Tam, that consciousness. Manasi, in the mind. Artavibrame, the root of all acceptance and rejection. Manaha, the mind. Vaikarike, in false ego. Identification of oneself with matter. Hutva, offering as oblations. Tam, this false ego. Mayayam, in the total material energy. Juhoti, offers as oblations. Anu, following this principle. Translation and purport. The mental concoction of discrimination between good and bad should be accepted as one unit and then invested in the mind, which should then be invested in the false ego. The false ego should be invested in a total material energy. This is the process of fighting false discrimination. This verse describes how a yogi can become free from material affection. Because of material attraction, a karmi cannot see himself. Jnanis can discriminate between matter and spirit, but the yogis, the best of whom are the Bhakti yogis, want to return home back to Godhead. The karmis are completely in illusion. The jnanis are neither in illusion nor in positive knowledge. But the yogis, especially the Bhakti yogis, are completely on a spiritual platform. As confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita 14:26, Mam chayo vyabhicharena bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatidhyatan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. One who engages in full devotional service, who does not fall down under any circumstance, at once transcends the modes of material nature and thus comes to the level of Brahman. Thus a devotee's position is secure. A devotee is at once elevated to the spiritual platform. Others, such as Jnanis and Hatha yogis, can only gradually ascend to the spiritual platform by nullifying the material discrimination on the platform of psychology and nullifying the false ego by which one thinks, I am this body, a product of matter. One must merge the false ego into the total material energy and merge the total material energy into the supreme energetic. This is the process of becoming free from material attraction. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Vanchakalpatrubhescha kripasindubheva patitaram pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Namo Vishnu Paraya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvichesha Shunyavadi Pashkata Deshatarine.
Dvijamani, before you begin, one editorial note real quick. The very first sentence of the purport reads, this verse describes how a yogi can become free from material affection. Prabhupada often uses this word affection in a not so common way, but a bona fide way, which means to be affected by. It doesn't mean that you have affection for the material energy. You understand? Be affected by. So be free of being affected by the material energy.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Dhruva Prabhu. So translation one more time. The mental concoction of discrimination between good and bad should be accepted as one unit and then invested in the mind, which should then be invested in the false ego. The false ego should be invested in the total material energy. This is the process of fighting false discrimination. So when I read this text, at first it kind of confused me a little bit, but then I remembered a few verses from Bhagavad Gita, which in some way touches on this point as well. And first text is in the 3rd chapter, when Krishna speaks about kama, lust, and the way to transcend lust. He says, he speaks about the hierarchy of locations of lust. Indriyani paranyahur, indriyabhya paramana, manasastu parabudhir, yobudhya paratastu sa. He says that the working senses are superior to dull matter. The mind is above the senses. Above the mind is the intellect. And above the intellect or beyond intellect is the soul. And in between the intelligence and the soul, there is this false ego. So, and Srila Prabhupada very nicely explains in the purport to this text that if we understand that the soul is directly engaged with the Supreme Lord, then all other things such as the senses, the mind, and the body, intelligence, could also be engaged. So if we directly, through connection of the soul and the super soul, come to the platform of devotional service, all other things will be also in devotional service, engaged in devotional service. And another text that I was thinking about is Labante, it's 525, Bhagavad Gita, Labante Brahma Nirvanam Shakshana Kalmashaha Chinadvaidetatmana Sarva Bhutta Hiterata. And those who are beyond the dualities that arise from doubts whose minds are engaged within, and who are always working for the welfare of all living entities, they achieve the liberation in the Supreme. And another thing is that those people have to be free from sins. They have to stop being sinful. That's Kshina Kalmasha. So a saintly person, he doesn't discriminate between good and bad because it's a waste of time. So what he does is trying to be merciful. He's trying to be very kind to all living entities and try to uplift them to that platform of devotional service. So that's what Krishna is saying in the 5th chapter. Because if we simply engaged in ministering to the physical welfare of human society, it actually can't help anyone. So the whole purpose is to engage people in devotional activities so they can revive the original spiritual Krishna consciousness, the spiritual form. So, yeah, preaching is actually a natural outcome of, you can say, of our personal bhajan, because when we relate to Krishna, we're speaking with the most merciful and compassionate living entity. And when we do it without offense, we naturally want to resemble the qualities or extend them and help all the living entities. So within our personal bhajan, when we chant, when we engaged in congregational chanting or different devotional activities, hearing, chanting, remembering Krishna, naturally we just want to share. It's not something that is imposed. It's not something that we have to do as a big austerity. If we clearly and purely hear the message of Krishna, we want to share it. It becomes a desire like that. And then if we simply try to engage, as I mentioned earlier, in ministering to the physical welfare activities, or the welfare of human society, then what happens is that we live on a mental platform. And the mental platform is described very nicely by Srimad Bhagavatam. It's sankalpa and vikalpa. That's the function of the mind. We just accept things that we like and reject things that we don't like. But the mind doesn't really know what we really need, what we really should like or dislike. So therefore, because of that mental engagement, we feel we're always bombarded by this constant stream of information. There's so many things going on around us. So much information, so much advertisement. We see now social media, television. We just click from one channel to another and scroll down, up and down on our social media accounts. So that's this stream of information causes exhaustion, the emotional exhaustion, which actually it doesn't help, because the energy that you could be utilized in understanding Krishna and serving Krishna is just completely just wasted on our phones and like that in this way. And the whole purpose of Bhakti Yoga, or any yoga in general, is to concentrate and fixate the mind on an object. And of course, as Bhakti yogis, we have a very beautiful object, Radha and Krishna, or Radha Giridhari. So instead of focusing the mind on something that doesn't help, something that is completely bewildering and keeps us in illusion, we should focus and fixate our mind on Krishna, Radha Giridhari. Otherwise, we'll just continue in this bodily conception of life, which will only cause duality, illusion, and dissatisfaction. Srila Prabhupada says that as long as we remain on the mental platform, there's no fixity of conclusion. You can't reach the conclusion. It's impossible. And instead of conclusion, there's confusion. We become confused. And Yudhishthira Maharaj also mentions that in the Mahabharata. He says that you cannot understand the Absolute by argument, or simply by reading the scripture, or by following different jnanis or philosophers. He says the key to understanding the Absolute is Mahajanayana agata sapantaha. He says that the key is if we just hear the Mahajanas and try to follow what they teach us, whatever they advocate. Utsaha nishtayat daryat tat karma pravartanat sangatyagat satovrite sadhir bhakti prasidyate. This is Rupa Goswami saying of the 6 favorable principles of devotional service, one of which is to follow the Acharya Satavrite. And then the religious principle hidden within the heart of the self-realized persons, they will be able to understand them. We'll be able to understand them. And simply if we just come in a submissive attitude and listen and inquire from them, associate with them, in time they will transfer that to us, impart that knowledge onto us. This civilization that we live in, it's very elaborate. I've just recently heard that Elon Musk is about to, or soon will release the robots, the artificial intelligence that they will cook for us. They will help us in many ways, drive us, and also do our laundry and all these things, be our buddy, spend time with us. And that's coming in the near future. And Elon Musk is trying to make it affordable so that robot can come to any household. So it will cost like $10,000-$20,000. So pretty much anyone who is middle class can afford a robot like that. So there's so much progress in the material means taking place in the world. It's so sophisticated. But what this civilization is just the civilization of a sandcastle. Srila Prabhupada gives that analogy. The sandcastle. We build it, we make it so nice, it's so beautiful, it looks amazing, And sometimes people come and take pictures. In Pacific Beach, they also used to I haven't seen it so much, but they used to build a big sand castles, you know, as a competition. You know, I saw some pictures, and but ultimately at the end, what happens at the end to that sand castle? The sea washes it all away. That's it. It just all disappears. So it's so much work, so much endeavor for nothing at the end. And Srila Prabhupada was in Manila in Philippines in 1972. He was about to give a lecture in a hotel, Grand Ballroom, and he was sitting with His Grace Bhurijan Prabhu, and he was holding a little, what do you call it, like a paper flag with a stick, like a little flag, in his hand, and he was just playing with it, toying with it a little bit, and at some point the thing broke. So Srila Prabhupada said, "You see, this is material world right here. It acts in the same way. It always breaks." And then he said something really amazing after this to Bhurijan Prabhu that actually completely changed his life, and he took that instructions to heart. Srila Prabhupada said that my desire is that all living entities in this universe go back home, back to Godhead. That is the outreach of Srila Prabhupada, not just the people at the temple where I stay, or in the city, in the country, in the world, but the universe, the whole universe. He wanted all living entities in this universe to go back home, back to Godhead. And then he said that to fulfill this compassionate desire, he organized ISKCON, and he taught us how to preach. He wrote so many books for us. He says, "I'm an old man and you are a young man, so please help me. Please help me. Take responsibility to manage this Krishna consciousness movement. Take responsibility in devotional life and take responsibility to serve the holy name." That's what he said. And it's important. Serving the holy name is really essential. And one time, one devotee, Bhanabat Prabhu, was in Mayapur, and he was preparing to accommodate for a lot of devotees visiting Mayapur. It was at the time when Srila Prabhupada was on the planet. And I guess they were running short on people, not so much, a lot of expectations, a lot of devotees are coming, but they didn't have enough help. So Bhanabat Prabhu was asking everyone capable to please come help us. We need some, there's a lot of things to do. Please, everyone who was there in Mayapur at that time, he was asking to help. And at some point he saw one devotee. He was very stout and very strong. And he noticed that this devotee would take breakfast and go to a banana patch and just chant Harinam, just chant japa all day. So at some point he was a little maybe agitated a little bit, and he told him, "Prabhu, can you please do some physical labor? Can you please come help us do some service?" And that devotee told him, "No, I came to Mayapur just to chant the holy name. That's it." And he left it like that. So then Bhanabat Prabhu was so agitated. He was like, "That's unfair. We're all working so much, and he's just chanting the holy name. He's just sitting down on banana patch and chanting the holy name." So he wanted to bring it up to Srila Prabhupada. He went to Srila Prabhupada, offered his obeisances, and he told him, he was in a bit of aggravating mood when he entered the room, Srila Prabhupada. And he said, Srila Prabhupada, I need to tell you something. I need to tell you something. And Srila Prabhupada was chanting, Japa Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So then Bhanabat Prabhu said, Srila Prabhupada, we're working so hard, we need so much help because we're expecting so many devotees to come to Mayapur these days. And then this one devotee that I came across, he's just chanting all day. Srila Prabhupada, he's just chanting all day. And then Srila Prabhupada, you looked at him very, very grave, and he said, you don't think chanting the holy name is service? You don't think that this is service? And then Srila Prabhupada said, this is actually the greatest service you can do. And then that devotee was like, wow, Srila Prabhupada, okay, thank you, I understand now. And then he took off. And of course, Srila Prabhupada is unpredictable. He speaks to and relates to everyone differently. And so therefore, we can see that in a situation like that, Srila Prabhupada could say that, please take this devotee, tell him that he should come and help But now in this situation, he said that no, this is the greatest service. So Srila Prabhupada, as a Jagat Guru, the spiritual master of all of us, Shiksha Guru, he knows exactly how to engage us in devotional service. And similarly, when we accept Diksha, initiation, our spiritual master also understands and knows exactly how to engage us. So, if we'll take a look at this purport, this verse speaks about merging, and I don't have many big realizations about merging and how it exactly functions, but what I've was able to understand is that we have no power to actually merge anything. Krishna is doing that, and karmis, when they merge their activities out of duty, their consciousness doesn't change, unless they, of course, perform religious duties according to the dharma, because we need Yagya Vishnu. We need to sacrifice. We need to perform sacrifices for Lord Vishnu. And so, at some point, by dutifully doing our activities, you can become a jnani. You can realize the difference of matter and spirit. But then, if we reach that level, Krishna is still not fully happy with us. Only if you become a Krishna Bhakta, Krishna is satisfied. When you become an eternal servant, you merge your false ego into the external energy, and then you enter into the spiritual energy, Daivam Prakriti. And our position, of course, is Javera Swarupa Hoy Krishna Nitya Das, Krishna Tatashta Shakti Bheda Bheda Prakash. That's our position. But in a dual world, everyone is falsely trying to become the master of the world. So everyone is always envious of each other. And another thing is doubt and unavoidable death. So this is the situation in the material world. And one example that came to mind, speaking about duality, is when Uttara, she was attacked by Ashvatam, or not her exactly, but the embryo Maharaj Parikshit within the embryo of Uttara. And at that time, it was after the battle for Kurukshetra. Krishna was present, Maharaj Yudhishthir, the Pandavas, Mother Kunti and Draupadi. All of them, they offered oblations or Ganga for the waters of Ganga for the dead bodies of the relatives. And at some point, Krishna was about to leave for Dwarka. But then Uttara started screaming, Krishna, Krishna, please protect me, Krishna. And then Krishna, he saw Uttara, and she was screaming, she was yelling, no one else can save me. And what was happening is Ashvatam released the Brahmastra to kill the embryo of Maharaj Parikshit within the womb of Uttara. And of course, Mother Uttara, she has her husband Abhimanyu. He was there. He died at the battlefield. And then in the Vedic tradition, we see that a mother usually, or a wife, she comes with the husband. She also leaves her body along with the husband. But at this point, because Uttara was pregnant with Maharaj Parikshit, she didn't do that. She wanted to give protection to the child. Just like in the Vedic times, we understand that Brahmanas are protected and children are protected. Also, mothers are protected, cows are protected. So these different members of society are given protection because they offer so much to the society. So in this way, Uttara was also pregnant, and she remained in this world alive, and she was just she was praying so hard to Krishna, please protect me, please protect me. No one else can save me but you. And she was also speaking about how there's duality of material existence and death. So only you, Krishna, can really, truly protect me. And of course Krishna did. He covered the embryo with his Sudarshan disc and eventually helped Uttara and Maharaj Parikshit. He wasn't killed by Ashwatthama. So in this way, we can also call out to Krishna for protection at the time of need, when we truly experience some danger or something that is giving us trouble. And most of the times, I've heard this one thing: when we've been affected by by lust or by any material desires, we can call out to Srila Prabhupada, and we can call out to our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, within the mind or also out loud. And in that way, just fixate the mind on a spiritual teacher. And one thing I'll also say is that one of our acharyas, in the in his commentaries, Srila Baladev Vedibhushana, he said that development of service mood and following the instructions of the spiritual master, it actually helps us to disunite ourselves from this material world, just like material world is compared to glue that binds us. So if we accept the order of the spiritual master, it works as a remedy. So instead of Krishna sending us different difficulties through the gunas, through the modes of nature, just simply by faithfully following the instructions of the spiritual master, we no longer have to go through challenges like that of the modes of nature, of Maya. Simply, if we just sincerely follow the instructions, that's enough to help us advance and realize that we eternal servants of Krishna, our spiritual master. And another thing is when Uttara and also Mother Kunti, when they prayed to Krishna, they resembled such a faithful mood and complete dependence for Krishna's protection. Mother Kunti was praying that let these calamities happen again and again and again and again, because at that time I can actually think of you and I can really be Krishna conscious. And we all know how many things happen. So many things happen to Mother Kunti and the Pandavas. So when Krishna realizes that devotee is advanced and is pure, he is able to handle these calamities and difficulties, he will send them. And it'll happen that through these calamities we'll be more effectively serving Krishna. We'll be more and more Krishna conscious. So, of course, prematurely we don't need to pray for those calamities, because at this point, if we just in the beginning of our sadhana practice, if we start calling for the calamities, it's going to be difficult, because Krishna will send them. But if we rise up to a platform of Madhyam, or at least Madhyam Adhikari, we can well experience those calamities and those tests. And so this beautiful scripture and many wonderful examples of great devotees of the Lord, if we read and if we try to embody their spirit, follow in their footsteps, then we'll maintain proper vision, proper consciousness, and they will help us. We're supposed to follow after great Mahajans, Acharyas, following in their instructions and footsteps, Sato-Vrite. So that's the ultimate remedy from all the difficulties and calamities, dualities in life. So yeah, we spoke about how wise people, they actually fight false discrimination of good and bad, because ultimately, if we spiritually situate it, it doesn't really exist. What's the use of good and bad? It's just it's a waste of time. We should transcend that. And so merging means that we eventually, gradually rise up to the platform of knowing ourselves to be transcendental to body, senses, mind, and intellect, the false ego. So in this way, when we understand that we're not the body, factually understand, factually realize, then we can truly advance and help so many people in the world in the mood of our great Acharyas. So thank you so much for your attention. I'd like to hear from you. Do you have any questions?
Hare Krishna, thank you for the class. I have two questions, and first one is about you mentioned that Srila Prabhupada so not understandable and sometimes contradictory. And what my question: how to understand these things, because of this that example when he sometimes speaks that, how to say, stop chanting, but to do something, and that time he said that this is a great service, chanting. So how to understand for us this contradictory in Srila Prabhupada behavior, because of this is not simple like.
As far as I understand, one thing was we can always consult our Shiksha Guru or Diksha Guru. We can always understand what they take on it and see what they would have to say. But ultimately, of course, in our youthful days and days when we just engaged in sadhana bhakti, we try to exert our energy in Krishna service. And then at some point, when we no longer have this body to facilitate or to help us be properly engaged in devotional service, then we can concentrate on the bhajan. We can concentrate more on the chanting the holy name and go to a holy place, Mathura, and then just, because we can't do anything else but just chant. So in this way we can, that's actually a great service, to glorify Krishna and to chant the holy name. It's an amazing service. Even when we feel sick, if we lay in bed and we can't do anything, we can think of Krishna and we can glorify, we can read Srimad Bhagavatam out loud. It's a nice practice. We can call someone and just glorify Krishna, share our realizations and say something that will describe pastimes, qualities, form, name, Krishna. That's a great service. And in this way, we're not just laying, we're actually serving. Or in some way, we can also engage in hearing, like that. So that's my understanding. In youthful days, when our body is still capable, we do this, we exert our energy for Krishna. We are physically engaged, but then at some point we can engage in bhajan. But then there could also be personal instructions, individual instructions from our spiritual master. So now in this case, in this example, Srila Prabhupada personally told that devotee, of course not directly, but through the means of another devotee, that this is proper. He's engaged in chanting. So if our spiritual master tells us that you should now at this point focus on japa or on anything else, then this will be proper.
And second question is some relate with this, that a little earlier you told about that a preacher should be engage people in service, in devotional service, and we know that devotional services is not external activity. Devotional services, how to say, in our consciousness, and so we can, how to say, give some opportunities to even chant, but in the beginning people can't chant and like service. This is it will be only like okay, parrot. Also, parrot can chant Hare Krishna, but it's no effect. And so, what do you think about this? How to inspire to take seriously, like Srila Prabhupada many times said that take serious this movement, this practice, and how to do it. That not like surface level.
Yeah, I guess a lot of devotees have difficulties with chanting sometimes. And how do we take that chanting more seriously? How do we really chant not externally like a parrot, but actually with the heart, calling out? I haven't come to that level myself. I can say something theoretically, I guess. One thing is along with the holy name, along with chanting, we should also engage in studying Srimad Bhagavatam, because Srimad Bhagavatam helps us to understand the Sambandha Gyan. Sambandha means relationship, understand more about ourselves and who Krishna is. So if we have more of that understanding, how this relationship works, and if we learn about Krishna's pastimes, then in this way it can help us to be more personal. And then along the way with studying the Srimad Bhagavatam, also we engaged in preaching the message of Bhagavatam and serving the holy name, just like it's mentioned in the text here. It was mentioned actually in my example, not in the text. It was mentioned in my example that Srila Prabhupada was saying you should take responsibility in devotional life, and you should also take responsibility in serving the holy name. So it's important to do something to propagate the teachings of Srimad Bhagavatam and the holy name, and in this way we can through that responsibility be more firm in our conviction that the holy name is actually Krishna. And when we'll approach the holy name, we'll take it up seriously, because as a preacher, your whole preaching, it depends on the quality of your japa. If you don't chant good rounds, it's going to be difficult. People will, you'll make offenses, or you won't be able to understand or properly conduct a message of Krishna consciousness. There's going to be difficulties and challenges. But ultimately, Krishna protects us, and I gave some examples. So even if we the idea is that we should be engaged in preaching, and then through that preaching, we'll have understanding and realizations. Krishna will personally help us understand how to advance in our chanting, like that. So, along the line of our personal bhajan and personal chanting, we should study the message of Bhagavatam and engage in preaching activities. Those things will help us to mature in chanting. I guess that's something that I would say. And if you have anything else that you could add, I'd like to hear from you too, Prabhu.
You mentioned that to better chanting, we should study Srimad Bhagavatam, and also otherwise to understand Srimad Bhagavatam, we should hear Hare Krishna, because of this very, this is like loop.
Yeah. It's like Krishna is always with Srimati Radharani, so holy name is always with Srimad Bhagavatam. You can't disunite them like that. So if we really want to chant good quality rounds, we should absorb our consciousness in the message of Bhagavatam. And of course, I'm not speaking from experience, I'm speaking only theoretically, only aspiring to do that. And it's important to study the books, not only read and go through them, but also study Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Vaibhava, and things like that. That also helps. It gives us so much of how to utilize the philosophy practically, and also nourishes the Sambandha Gyan and gives us something to fall back to when we live our life. We can just think of Krishna. If we really study and always absorbed in scripture, we can go through. There's a text in the Bhagavatam that if a devotee is controlling his senses, then whatever a place he goes, is absorbed in the message of Vasudeva. Wherever he goes, he's always peaceful. He's always shanti. He's always peaceful. So like that, and it's so helpful. We've got so many beautiful literatures. If we study them, if we really, if we meditate on them, then we'll be Krishna conscious.
Also, when we study Srimad Bhagavatam, is few levels of studying, and one of the level is like to understand logically, but also there is more deep level when I speak Russian, can try translate, как проникнуть, точнее, пережить эмоционально, то есть почувствовать то, что как бы внутри тех персонажей преданных, которые
Yeah, he's saying live and add emotion, especially when you meet the characters of Srimad Bhagavatam. Add emotion into understanding their qualities and what they are. So yeah, that's true. Emotion and all in the japa too. We should also add emotion like that. Thank you so much, Archana Prabhu. It's really valuable. Yes, Matthias. Yes.
Hare Krishna, thank you for the class. So I have 2 questions. You were talking about calamities. So, and that Krishna sends the calamities to the devotees.
Mm-hmm.
So when do you know if it's Krishna or just like past karmic activities? And also, what if you can't go over those calamities and you fall down?
Mm-hmm. Well, if you following 4 Agati principles and chant the holy name 16 rounds, aspiring to get initiated, like in UK's, you're following everything, then definitely you're attracting Krishna into your life, and Krishna is there in your life. So whatever difficulties that you experience, it's definitely helping you Krishna consciousness. So you can see that those calamities, they come to your life, and if you understand them that as mercy of Krishna to help you deal with your anarthas and help you develop better qualities, then yeah, it's Krishna trying to actually help you being merciful onto us and onto you. And like Dharmasetta Prabhu was saying in this verse, that Tenukampam Sushimakshimano in the Bhagavatam, that Lord Brahma is praying like that. How does the translation start? Tatenukampam Sushimakshimano. Sushimakshimano. Translation of English. Tatenukampam Sushimakshimano.
Anukampam susamikshimano bundana eva nukatam vipakam vidvakapu vividadante jivetio muktipade sadaya bhak. Tatenukampam susamikshimano. I have to review it, Prabhu. I'm sorry.
Let's see. So, what I'm trying to say is that Krishna, if you engage your words and mind and speaking ability, everything in service of Krishna, then he is personally present in your life, and he helps you. And devotees, they don't pray for anything. Pure devotees, they don't pray for anything from Krishna, to ask from Krishna. So because even when the difficulties come, we're more absorbed in remembering Krishna, and like that, like I said, to understanding that it's Krishna's helping you, it's Krishna showing mercy upon us. Yeah, we just become we tolerate them, and also we want to do something pleasing that will help us, because it's all just it's a matter of matra sparshasta kuntiya shitoshna dukkada, that this is just duality of material life. And even though we think that this is in the moment giving us pain and trouble, ultimately it all goes away, just like the winter and summer seasons. They come and they go. And devotees of the Lord see it as a merciful glance or hand of Krishna in their life. Does that make sense? We kind of...
Yes, yeah, it makes sense. Thank you. And what about...
Jyotir Prabhu will add something too now.
I have to disagree with one thing you said.
Uh-huh.
You did say that the pure devotees, they don't pray to the Lord for anything.
Anything material.
Yeah, that's an important thing. Constantly praying, Hare Krishna, for pure devotion, for the ability to speak or the ability to preach nicely, to actually help people, all kinds of things like that.
Yeah.
How would falling, not being Krishna conscious anymore, if that happens, is that also like Krishna's mercy maybe for later in life, get another chance to be closer to Krishna? Or how would you explain people that can't go over one calamity and they're stuck in their life with that?
Mm-hmm. So you're saying that sometimes people, they experience calamities but they cannot get over calamities. So what is it? Yeah. It's a good question. calamities are there to shape us and to help us. So if I can get over the calamities that are sent to me, I still tolerate. I don't give up and I continue. Because ultimately we will fall down in the sense of we might feel like not exactly fully Krishna conscious. We feel weak in the heart and we feel like we're really losing touch with the holy name. In this way we might fall down, we might feel really weak and disturbed and it's going to happen. But at the same time we always get up. When we fall down we always get up and continue. But if we can get up for some reason, then there's nothing better than just to consult someone or come to association of other devotees and continue hearing, continue endeavoring in Krishna consciousness. And if it happens that you do it and you extend yourself sincerely and fully, but somehow you can't get over a particular thing, particular anartha, then it could happen that at the end of life, Krishna will take you back. And it doesn't matter that we'll have imperfections, but still Krishna can, with all our imperfections, because of that sincerity in endeavoring and always trying to please Krishna, serving him, he can still take us back, even with all the material imperfections we have. Does that answer the question?
Yes, thank you.
I'll to explicate the verse, so if you allow me to read this translation. Tatenu Kampam. My dear Lord, says Lord Brahma, one who earnestly waits for you to bestow your causeless mercy upon him, all the while patiently suffering the reactions of his past misdeeds, and offering you respectful obeisances with his heart, words, and body, is surely eligible for liberation, for it has become his rightful claim. And it's a wonderful purport here. Bhajan Raimaj, he often refers to the last sentence, although he has a therapeutic. I look at it, the therapeutic does not appear anywhere in the word, but the word curative is here. Just as one cannot approach the sun without becoming fire, one cannot approach Supreme Pure Lord Krishna without undergoing a rigid purificatory process which may appear like suffering, but which is in fact a curative treatment administered by the personal hand of the Lord.
Yeah.
Because all he's gone through the diabetes, I think he really takes shelter of this verse and this understanding that it's curing our affection for the material world.
Yeah. Okay. Bhaktavatar Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu, for a fabulous class. I appreciate it. I really appreciated that last point you made. When Prabhuji was asking about the differences and how Srila Prabhupada answered different things. See, Srila Prabhupada, he can see what every person needs at a particular time. And at that particular time, like the devotee said, I came to Mayapur to chant. And so he was very intent on chanting, which is a good thing. If he wanted to usually when we go to Mayapur, we go for maybe a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, something like that. So we want to actually take advantage of that time in the Holy Dham to do as much intense devotional service as possible. So this devotee, obviously Srila Prabhupada could see that he was sincerely wanting to chant. It wasn't that, he was just being flaky and, I want to avoid the service, the physical service, and just sit in the plantain patch and chant. In another occasion, when I first went to Mayapur in 1984, Bhavananda Swami then was giving class, And he told the story about Srila Prabhupada. They were all in Calcutta, he and Tamal Krishna Goswami, some other devotees, big sannyasis, and they were all chanting 32 rounds. And I guess he proudly said to Srila Prabhupada, we're all chanting 32 rounds. Srila Prabhupada looked at him angrily and said, I never told you to chant 32 rounds. I told you to chant 16 rounds and spend the rest of the time making life members.
Yeah.
So different situations, different instructions.
Yeah. Thank you.
And I also really appreciated the point you were talking about, that when we call out to Krishna sincerely and out of desperation. When I was 16, I just got my driver's license, and I didn't know anything about Krishna consciousness, but at least I believed in God. And I was driving kind of fast on the freeway, and then the traffic in front of me slowed down, and so I changed lanes, thinking to get around the slow traffic. But then that was already stopped also, so there was no recourse except to slam on the brakes, and say I was a new driver, slam on the brakes, and a lot of my friends were with me, and the car just kind of started sliding sideways, and I just, out of desperation, I said, God, please save us, and so the car, it just spun onto, at that time on the 91 freeway, there was a big dirt area between the lanes going different directions. So the car just kind of spun around in the dirt thing, and nobody got hurt. All we got was a flat tire because of the sand getting in the tire. So it works.
Yeah, that's funny. Thank you, Bhakti-avatar Prabhu, for this edition. Thank you, Bhakti-avatar. Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.